Welcome to your Robbins Regional Wrap, your one-stop shop for all of your Houston County news. I'm Caitlin Heck. Each week we are taking you through what is happening in Houston, Warner Robins, Robins Air Force Base, and your neighborhood. When we start at Robins, Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff is pledging new support for the base. The Democrat just took on a new role in the U.S. Senate. He'll now serve as the top Democrat on the Military Construction and VA Subcommittee. Hunter King spoke with him about what this may mean for Central Georgia's future.
The Central Georgian economy is built around Robins Air Force Base, employing nearly 24,000 workers. Now, Senator Jon Ossoff says he'll have more power to support the base's growth. He's assuming a new role on the Senate subcommittee overseeing military construction and veteran affairs.
Georgia's 13 military installations are vital to our national defense. And they're also essential to Georgia's economy and Georgia's success.
Ossoff secured $50 million for Robins' new battle management complex last April. The center will support new missions at the base, replacing the departing JSTARS mission.
The future is bright. You've got the JSTARS mission that is leaving the Air Force, but multiple new missions arriving that are likely to have decades of relevance to our national security.
The senator says he'll also focus on quality of life for military families. He wants to improve housing, schools, and childcare on and near the base.
If we cannot provide service members and their families with that quality of life they deserve, we can't recruit and retain their services in the armed forces.
The base extends beyond its gates. Local businesses depend on Robins to survive.
Robins is, of course, a centerpiece of Middle Georgia's economy. And it's not just all the employment on Robins itself, but all of the suppliers and vendors and services who come and do business around and supporting the base.
Ossoff's Robins Facilities Enhancement Act became law in December. The law authorizes new construction to support incoming missions like the Advanced Battle Management System. Reporting in Warner Robins, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
Robins Air Force Base estimates that it contributed nearly $4 billion to Georgia's economy last year. The base says it increased its economic impact by more than 7% from 2023. And we'll learn much more about the base's achievements and goals at this year's State of the Base. Last year, leaders said the base was working to build their workforce and technology. That included working to create an entire group that will be a center for electronic warfare, the 950th Spectrum Warfare Group. This year's event will happen March 13th at 11:30 at the Museum of Aviation. More than 7,500 federal workers have taken the buyout or voluntary resignation with pay offered by the Trump administration. That comes after a judge allowed the offer to continue. But earlier this week, a federal judge temporarily blocked the plan. It could impact thousands of workers at Robins Air Force Base. Hunter King explains why union leaders call the offer a ripoff.
Robins runs on federal workers. It's no secret, and that's why some people are worried about the White House's new offer. They say more than 40,000 federal workers nationwide have already applied to resign in exchange for pay and benefits through September of 2025. But union leaders say the program isn't what it seems.
I am a former federal employee. I know what a buyout looked like. This is not one. If you ask me, this is a ripoff.
At Robins Air Force Base, which adds $3 billion a year to Central Georgia's economy, union leaders say workers are scared.
They have not shown them any monies that they will be getting. They have not told them any promises of solid things that they will be getting other than asking you to resign. And when you resign, that means you're quitting your job.
The local workers union here off of Watson Boulevard sits about a mile away from the Air Force Base, and union leaders have previously urged people not to take the offer. The biggest concern, federal funding runs out in March, and there's no guarantee Congress will approve money to pay workers who resign. Some say Congress could shut out workers who accept the offer, and they won't be able to do anything about it since they've already resigned.
They're calling this a fork in the road, right? You saw that? I say it's a knife in our back.
Now, a federal judge will decide the program's fate after unions filed a lawsuit claiming it violates federal law. In Warner Robins, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
The federal judge scheduled a hearing for Monday to consider arguments about the buyout's legality. The workers who've accepted that resignation offer may not be able to rescind it. And the Department of Defense operates one of its largest youth outreach programs right here in Central Georgia. Well, now Starbase Robins faces an uncertain future. As Hunter King shows us, the program's closure could leave thousands of students without access to hands-on STEM education.
In this Sacred Heart Catholic school classroom, students build the future one robot at a time. 7th grader Samuel Harden says the Starbase program changed his life.
When I first started Starbase, I had no idea how to even block code at all. But now now that after I've done Starbase for so many years, I'm getting closer to learning how to do Python code.
But soon these hands-on lessons could come to an end. At the national level, Starbase requested $60 million this year from Congress. The House approved it, but the Senate Armed Services Committee only allocated $20 million. STEM teacher Cindy Fuller says the program's closure would hit public schools the hardest.
There's a lot of schools within our community that don't have any type of STEM program other than the Starbase, and pulling that out, the students may not have any access to a STEM program.
The program reaches more than 2,000 Central Georgian students each year. Air Force professionals work directly with students teaching engineering and technology. Last year they held a drone and Lego engineering competition, but now that's likely to stop.
Since they don't really have STEM labs at previous schools I've been to, and they took the Starbase program away, they really have no way to get into the STEM curriculum at all.
Now, as temporary funding runs out, these young engineers hope their program can be saved. Starbase Robbins received emergency funding to stay open through January, but that money should run out this month. Starbase Robbins' 11 employees may be laid off if funding is not extended. Reporting from Warner Robins, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
The Department of Defense operates Starbase programs at 88 military bases across the country. We have reached out to the Department of the Air Force for comment on the program's future. They have not yet responded. In the past week, protests across the country have broken out as people push back against recent changes the Trump administration has made. Now they have made their way to Central Georgia. Over the weekend, more than 100 people gathered in Warner Robins to protest mass deportations.
We should just stand together. You know, I want everybody to be because not only we're going to have our flags, but we have the American flag. You know, we should all be united. You know, it shouldn't be that hard for us to want to stand together. So I want everybody to understand that we're your friend. We just want to be your friend. We just want to support. We want to be here.
The rally happened outside a Venezuelan restaurant on Watson Boulevard. People, including members of Houston County's NAACP, held signs in protest, and trucks displayed American, Mexican, and Guatemalan flags. Several drivers honked their horns in solidarity, and some even stopped to join the cause. One woman says her partner was taken by the FBI and says the rally was about recognizing the importance of immigrants.
We would like to call for all of the community to take a stand and to let them know that we don't want this. This is not what we want. We want criminals, of course, to be taken care of and apprehended, but we don't want our fellow residents to be in danger.
The rally focused on deportations, but also the laws affecting DEI programs and federal workers. Well, right now, a 29-year-old man is in jail after police say he stole an ambulance and led officers on a chase earlier this week. It all started at a clinic that sits near Houston County High School. Police say no one got hurt, but Carmen Brown shares more.
Wednesday morning, Warner Robins police responded to a call about a Houston Healthcare ambulance stolen from Middle Flint Behavioral Health Center. Officers spotted the emergency vehicle traveling at high speed on Fagan Mill Road. The driver then turned onto Houston Lake Road, driving through a field and a ditch, causing damage to the vehicle. That's according to police. The chase continued onto Russell Parkway, where the Houston County Sheriff's Office took over. There, the ambulance finally stopped on Carl Vinson Parkway, and 29-year-old Brandon Hill was arrested.
And of course, we reached out to Houston Healthcare, but they declined to comment. In Warner Robins, Carmen Brown, 13 WMAZ News.
Warner Robins police are asking anyone with any other information that could help to contact them at 478-302-5378. Houston Healthcare is a step closer to joining the Emory Healthcare system. The groups announced a potential partnership in August of last year. Emory says they have finalized their agreement with Houston Healthcare. The deal does still need approval from the state attorney general's office, and that could take months. Now, the state review would also look at maintaining services and access to affordable health care. Emory says the partnership aims to improve access to specialized care and expand services. And we rely on our healthcare professionals to help us feel better, but sometimes people walk away feeling worse. Healthcare-associated infections kill tens of thousands of people each year. Megan Western talked to people at Houston Healthcare in Perry about how they are preventing the spread.
In a place full of sickness, it can be easy for illness to spread.
The last thing that we want to do is a patient to come into the hospital and leave, sicker than what they were.
Across the U.S., 1 in 31 patients are treated every day for hospital-associated illness.
Bloodstream infections that are related to central lines or urinary tract infections related to indwelling urinary catheters and surgical site infections.
But in 2024, Houston Healthcare in Perry says they reported none, meaning you're more likely to leave healthy. Nurse manager Sherry Tennell says their team has various infection control trainings and procedures.
We have our hand hygiene committee that comes around and checks to make sure that we are doing proper hand hygiene.
Environmental Services Manager Kenyatta Oglesby says before you lie in a bed, your room is thoroughly cleaned.
We will come in the room, and what we will do is come in, disinfect all the high-touch areas.
And same when you leave, a sign goes up and a tech will roll out their UVC machine, blasting away the germs.
After it's done, it has killed the microorganisms and the bacteria remaining in the room.
But they say you don't have to worry about your neighbor's diagnosis because as nurses travel from room to room, they sanitize and switch out garments.
Focusing on patient safety really makes us very happy as a team here.
But no matter where you go, you don't want to only rely on hospital procedures.
The best way that our family members and patients can protect themselves during healthcare is to speak up.
And always wash your hands. In Perry, Megan Western, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, according to Definitive Healthcare, an online healthcare data resource, Georgia ranked 9th in the U.S. for the most hospital-acquired infections in 2023. As more people move to the international city, many are calling for more housing. Housing development, once shot down by Warner Robins leaders, is now back on the table. Megan Western shares the latest on the project along Houston Lake and Quarter Roads.
This is a busy intersection. We get majority of traffic from the base.
Common words around Warner Robins, especially along Houston Lake Road near the home of Georgia Bob's Barbecue, which has pulled in a crowd for nearly 21 years.
They have a name for themselves, so everybody like, where's Georgia Bob? And that's where they come.
As the city grows, Viola Thomas says they've learned to adapt and keep a steady flow of traffic inside their business.
They can go ahead and do online ordering for us, and they can place their order online and come pick it up, and they don't want to have to wait.
But the traffic isn't always as steady outside on the roads.
It's a challenge to dart out in between the traffic. It should stay R1.
Traffic concerns along Houston Lake held a proposed housing project back in 2024, but now Sajano LLC is throwing their hat in the ring again. Now this time, developers are looking to put 166 townhomes here on the corner with 2 entrances along Quarter Road. But first it needs to be rezoned. They want to change the roughly 18 acres from single-family residential to a planned urban development. In 2024, the company submitted a different plan calling for a mix of townhomes and apartments with 1 entrance along Quarter Road, but City Council turned it down. So as we await another decision, Thomas says they're ready to serve up something quick.
Everything's here is good. Just come by and see us on Russell Parkway.
In Warner Robins, Megan Western, 13 WMAZ News.
I will second everything at Georgia Bob's is good. Now, Warner Robins City Council is expected to take the recommendation of Planning and Zoning and vote on the decision the first council meeting in March. The city is also conducting a traffic study along Houston Lake to determine if a traffic light should be put at Tucker Place. Some sad news for craft store lovers. The crafting and fabrics retailer plans to close more than half of its remaining stores. Joann's will shut more than 500 locations nationwide, including 2 stores here in our area. 1 store is on Riverside Drive in Macon, the other Watson Boulevard in Warner Robins. The retailer's closing these places down because they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It's the second time Joann filed for bankruptcy in less than a year. Well, now the company is motioned to seek court permission to begin closing stores. We still don't know when these closures will happen and how many employees will be impacted. Under the Gold Dome, Georgia lawmakers want to make it easier for school psychologists to work in the state. Bethany Ballard from Houston County introduced a bill to do just that. As Hunter King reports, the move comes as school districts face critical staffing shortages.
They say your early years are vital in shaping brain development. Monica Smith oversees Houston County's school psychologists. She says their work is essential.
We have over 30,000 students, so each school psychologist has 3 to 4 schools, plus we have a child find program that they work with to evaluate our early childhood students.
The district's 13 psychologists help identify learning disabilities and handle mental health crises. Now, 2 are set to retire.
I'm going to face these challenges in the upcoming school year. We have 2 school psychologists retiring, so I have 2 openings. I'm not sure what I'm facing.
Representative Bethany Ballard says she wants to help by making it less complicated to move states as a professional psychologist.
This compact is very strenuous in the requirements for a school psychologist. Our school district is very friendly to it because we need more school psychologists working with our children.
Think of it like getting your driver's license. Right now, if you're a school psychologist moving from Florida to Georgia, you essentially have to retake your entire driver's exam, going through a whole new licensing process, even though you're already qualified. This bill would let Georgia join something like a professional driver's license agreement with other states. If passed, there are still some basic requirements. You need to have passed the national exam and you must have completed 1,200 hours of supervised training. In Houston County, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
West Virginia and Colorado have already joined the compact. The bill passed the House Education Committee and heads to the full House for a vote next week. Governor Kemp also has plans to fund mental health resources in schools. He unveiled his proposal at the start of this year's legislative session. Houston County elementary students are flipping through the pages of some brand new books and workbooks. After doing a test phase in 5 elementary schools, the district is rolling out a new reading curriculum called Benchmark Advance to the rest of the elementary schools. Naomi Washington takes us inside Quail Run Elementary, where teachers there say they have seen improvements in their students' understanding of reading and writing.
Braylon, what's universal?
All Houston students in kindergarten through 5th grade will soon learn the Benchmark Advance curriculum. 4th grade teacher Libby Kelly says the program works in all the components of literacy. Those are reading, writing, phonics, and grammar.
Whatever the kids are learning and reading, they're going to put into practice in writing as an author, which is really exciting.
She's noticed an improvement in their schoolwork because they get lots of practice.
They get books for every unit, and they get to read their stories, and then there's reflection questions that they can answer in their magazines at home, and then they get to take those home at the end of the units.
So why do Houston elementary schools need to change reading curriculums to begin with? Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning Elgin Mayfield says it's because the state passed the Georgia Early Literacy Act. It requires classrooms to use materials based on the science of reading.
There's some tenets to science of reading that are very important, and these materials meet those requirements and still allow our teachers some flexibility with some small group instruction.
He says the program puts an emphasis on expanding students' vocabulary and word pronunciation. While getting students to the state standards is the priority, teachers will have to learn this new program too.
We're providing a lot of training in addition to just giving them the materials. We are certainly not handing them a bunch of books and going, have fun. We're providing days and days of training.
Kelly believes her students are better critical thinkers with the Benchmark Advanced learning methods. In Houston County, Naomi Washington, 13 WMAZ News.
Mayfield says it will cost the district $3.5 million to roll out Benchmark Advance in all 25 of the district's elementary schools. That is the cost for 6 years worth of curriculum materials. Speaking of reading, people in Warner Robins celebrated their love of literature. It's the 9th year of the Middle Georgia Lit Fest. It promotes a love of reading and learning. 80 authors signed and sold their books. Artists sold their pieces and educational materials. The North Houston Sports Complex was filled with people networking and meeting up with their favorite authors.
It's been great. I mean, looking at the different books, from science fiction, poetry, to history, and really it's not just the books, but talking to the folks and hearing their story and hearing their journey along the way.
It's like the ultimate book fair. There were story readings and arts and crafts for the kids and writing workshops for adults. Well, for our School of the Week, we visit Fagan Mill Middle, where band students are showcasing some exceptional musical talents. Freha Brar took a trip to my middle school alma mater to meet the young wolves in the symphonic band who won an award as they now prepare to play at regionals next month.
Upon entering Trey English's middle school band class, you'll find some first-class talents.
I used to play piano, but when I tested out my instruments, they said I was good at playing saxophone, so I decided to go with saxophone.
Instrument petting zoo sort of thing when they're in 5th grade at the end of the year, and we have different stations on each room, and you'll go to a flute room and there will be an instructor that helps you make a sound on the flute. Band directors get those test scores and can kind of meet with the children individually to discuss what might be best for them.
I played the recorder, and then so I just picked the clarinet because it's just like a glorified recorder.
I started from flute and then I transitioned into playing oboe.
So originally I was assigned to play flute because they said I was best at that,
But then on the first day of 6th grade, they had percussion tryouts, and so I tried out and I made it, and it's what I do.
Talented musicians now bringing awards home to Fagan Mill, like the Exemplary Performance Award by the Georgia Music Educators Association.
We're like one of the couple schools that got chosen for this award, and we get to go to Athens and play for them in March, and it gets to be live streamed.
Selected with 7 other schools in the Southeast, including Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia, the rewards reaped here continue for years.
Because every day I feel like we get better.
The academic teachers get these students for 1 year, but as a band director, I get them for 3 years, and watching them grow from little baby 6th graders all the way up to mature 8th graders is definitely my favorite part of being a teacher. Watching them just flourish and find what works for them and explore.
Mr. English's expectations are really high, so that just causes us to play at a higher level, have high expectations. We just have a mindset that as long as we keep playing, we're gonna eventually do it.
We're Fagan Mill and we're the School of the Week.
1, 2, ready.
Talented. Makes me proud to be a former Wolf. Their competition in Athens happens next month. We wish them the best of luck. Well, that's a wrap on what's happening throughout the Robbins region this week. If you have a Houston County story you want us to share, go ahead and email us at news@13wmaz.com. Make sure you come back each and every Friday to get all of your Houston County news and stories that matter to you. Thank you for joining us for your Robbins Regional Wrap.